All right, everybody, welcome to our insurance project in Unit 4 here. So I'm going to open up the project with a little joke. So I used to be an actuary. I worked at an insurance company. So when God created actuaries, God just kind of stood there for a second, scratched his head, and said, "Go figure." And they took it very literally. So in this project, we'll be looking at insurance. I had a really hard time with this project in terms of trying to wrap everything into one doable package in, like a 3-day window. So I ended up creating a ton of stuff and taking all the stuff out. So I don't know. It is what it is. Maybe we'll change in the future. But we start out with our overview, kind of looking at insurance. We focus on 5 major insurance topics in this project. So we'll cover health insurance, auto insurance, home insurance. What are the other 2 that I put in here? I just did it. You'd figure I could remember, but it's too late. So let's see, we got medical, aka health insurance. We have car insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, and home insurance. There we go. So we'll cover those. There are other types of insurance out there. There's travel insurance, there's medical or dental, vision, but it was just too much. There's just too much to cover in one project of this size, so had to make some cuts somewhere. It's calculated. Insurance jokes. Okay, so we have some resources here. The project video, which I'm making right now. Some required viewing. So I really took a long time trying to find kind of like the best and shortest videos that I could that really succinctly summarize what each of these topics is. And I really hope that you guys understand at the end of this project how each of these things works overall. So like overall, how does health insurance work or medical insurance work? How does car insurance work? And so that's what these videos are focusing on. There are a few articles here, along with a sort of summary not Excel, I wish it was Excel, right? Google Sheets document. It goes through and looks at some of the different medical insurance plans, along with sort of the health accounts, I would say, that go with them. So just summarizing that information, because it's a lot. Like when you just start throwing around the acronyms, you just say, oh, it's an HMO, a PPO, and it's just like it gets all muddled in our brains and they all blend together. Just a bunch of 3-letter combinations for us. So hopefully that helps kind of like discern between them. But don't feel like you have to memorize that stuff. Again, like I created this tool for you. We might as well look at it, right? I took the time to make it, might as well take a peek. So in this, it's just summarizing these things. It's got the names at the top here, and then it goes through each of these are going to be tables once it actually loads here for us. It's working. It's taking its time. So here, going through HMO, how does it compare? So does it have a low deductible? Does it have a low premium? Are referrals required? And it kind of like explains just in a very quick format what these sort of plans can look like. Same thing for the health accounts. I say accounts, but this is a health reimbursement arrangement. So whatever, 2 out of 3, they win the naming scheme here. Here are some videos that are not required, so just basically some extensions on these topics. There are some articles, just check out at least one of them. There are some open questions, so trying to get an idea for what you guys think of insurance. Have you kind of considered what you are covered for currently? That sort of deal. Why do we have it? Some guided practice here. So now this is what I shifted into the bulk of the project, I think. I don't know. I think this is the hardest part, personally. So the guided practice part, here's where I want you guys to explain in your own words what each of these 5 different types of insurance do, what they are, how they operate. So in doing so, it should be writing like I would call it a very short paragraph, right? 2-3 sentences, maybe 4 or 5 at most. Don't go crazy. But it should include a number of different things, and those things are listed out for each one of these different types of insurance. So take medical insurance as an example. For the medical insurance, it should include these catchphrases: premium, deductible, copay, and out-of-pocket max. And you need to explain how those things kind of tie in together and just overall how medical insurance works. Do the same thing for car, life, disability, and home. For disability insurance, we're just focusing on short-term and long-term disability. We get to the exploration portion here, and so this is where I decided to shorten this aspect of it, hoping that people would spend a little bit more time on the guided research and also just trying to cut people a break. So here we just have a health insurance example that we look at. So here is my example. So you guys are going to copy this document for yourselves and then save it to your money management folder. But here I have a plan 1, plan 2, and plan 3 summary table for the monthly premium, the deductible, the co-insurance percentage, which I put as a customer percentage. So when you see 20%, it means the customer, aka you, is paying 20%, and then the insurance company is paying 80%. And then we have out-of-pocket max here as well. The plan 1, scenario 1, 2, and 3 outlined right here with our annual medical expenses, aka each of the different scenarios. The premium for annual, which is just our monthly times 12. The plan's deductible, and this is going to be a calculation because it depends on pay to deductible. So you'll never pay more than this amount at the full price. Well, I guess you could if you didn't have a copay portion, but most often it'll switch, right? So you pay your deductible and that switches to the copay. So that's what this is doing here, and that's what this is doing here. Both of these formulas you can check out, or you can just say, Mr. G probably knows what he's doing. Maybe I don't though. It's 3 in the morning. I mean, what am I doing with my life? We have out-of-pocket max here. So this is again a calculated sum of these two things, and it has a cap on it. So again, this copay has a cap on it here. I did the minimum of, so these two things. So once it caps out, I don't know. Somebody check out the formula. It's worth checking out. It'll benefit you in life. And so here's where we get our out-of-pocket max that we paid, and then the total for the year is going to obviously be then that out-of-pocket max plus whatever our annual premium is. And maybe we don't hit the out-of-pocket max, right? So like in this example, we only hit $500, and so that's all that would be included with the premium. So in each of these scenarios, I just highlighted in green here what the best plan was. So for scenario 1, the best plan was plan 1. For scenario 2, the best plan was plan 2. And for scenario 3, the best plan was plan 3. If you analyze what these plans are doing, you should be able to say at a high level, kind of overall, what the whole, not the whole game with insurance is, but I guess we'll call it a game, right? So if you have lower payments that you're paying in initially, you're going to be ending up having a higher cap of what you pay. So you'll benefit for the low end of things, but you'll pay more on the high end of things. And we see that in these examples playing out here. Then you guys have a practice tab here. So I shortened it for you, just 2 plans and just 2 scenarios. So here we have a scenario of 2,000 and 20,000. I would encourage you to try and recreate my work, but again, as we've noted before, we can copy and then make adjustments as needed based off of an existing example. So FYI, that's fine as well. After this, I just want some feedback on the project. I would be especially interested on this project to hear what you guys say. I do just kind of want to talk for a minute about insurance in general for you guys. I know I maybe should have done it in the beginning instead of the end of the video, but here's Mr. G's sage advice for you. In insurance, by and large, what is happening is that one individual cannot stomach a certain loss, right? If I lose my entire house, right, a tree, a UFO hits my house, whatever, I'm pretty much screwed. There's nothing I can do. I don't have enough money saved up to just immediately buy another house. Hopefully I have an emergency fund. I could, find another place to rent or whatever, something in the meantime. But by and large, that's a huge hit to me, and I can't take that hit just as a lowly peasant, which I am. So what happens is I say, okay, I need to make sure I'm covered. So who's going to cover me? An insurance company will cover me. Well, they're not just going to cover me because they like me, although I am very likable, I think. So what they do is they charge me a small amount of money, knowing that the percentage of that the likelihood of that happening, the probability is very low. What is the probability that my house is going to be hit with a meteor? It's low. It's not 0, but it's pretty near 0, right? So when we're doing this sort of calculation, we're saying, okay, very low probability, you give me some money, and then, of 100,000 people, a few of them will have their home struck by lightning or whatever, right? Like that happens, like it's a real thing. So in that case, those people get paid out, but by and large, who always wins? The insurance company, okay? There are instances where we quote unquote win, but when I quote unquote win, it means my house got struck by lightning, or I got in a car crash and they paid for it, or I have life insurance and I died, right? Like it's the most dark humor kind of win there is. So when we're looking at these different products, yes, they are necessary. Would a nonprofit model be better? I mean, yeah, obviously, like you wouldn't have the profit margin there on top, but it is sort of one of, if you want to think of it this way, like a necessary evil. So I can't stomach this loss. I need somebody to cover me. How am I going to do it? Insurance company is going to do it. So it is providing a service to me. There's a lot that goes into the calculation. So like I had mentioned earlier in this project, I was an actuary before, and they crunch all the numbers behind the scenes. So they look at all of the incidents. So take car accidents, for example, right? They look at all the incidents of car accidents that happened last year with, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And so then they take that data over years and years and years, and they figure out, okay, for this type of person, when I say type of person, they're classifying based off of, whatever information they can get from you. So age, sex, all these different factors are going to play into your location, like what type of car you drive, like all these things are going to tie into how they're going to run up your quote, right? They'll give you a quote for, it's going to be, $400 a year for your car insurance, versus somebody maybe the same age, same gender, everything the same, but their car is nicer. Boom, they're going to have a more expensive car insurance policy. So like all these things factor in and play in, and just understand that they have mountains and mountains of data, so they know pretty well what's going to happen. One interesting area here, I'll just go off on a actuarial tangent, is CAT modeling. So CAT modeling is like for catastrophic events. So global warming is changing CAT modeling in a way that they're having to redo all these models, because it's like every year we keep breaking this unprecedented sort of thing, like number of hurricanes, the duration of the hurricane season, like all this stuff. So anyways, thanks for that. I'll wrap it up here now. Hope you guys enjoy the insurance project, and as always, have a phenomenal day.